running out for football fans who want to get that piece of Green Bay history.
At 6 p.m. tonight, an online auction of the NFL draft signage and stage parts will...
Without further ado, it's my honor and my privilege to present this check to the American Red Cross of Northeast Wisconsin. So this video is going to be a little weird. Basically, I didn't know what was happening until it was happening. But if you want to read about the whole story, I'm in the newspaper with the whole thing. The Press Gazette has it. It's been posted on the Titletown Auction Company page and a couple other of my pages that I manage. But basically, I went there looking for a sign for myself and found the Motherlode. But they're trying to give signage and stuff to charity. So basically, I contacted my contacts at the Red Cross and said, hey, can we do an auction? And they said, sure. And so I talked to the NFL and said, hey, can we do an auction? And they said, sure. So yeah, had I known the whole process in advance, this video would be a little bit more organized. What's going on, everybody? Resale Rabbit here. So this video is going to be a little bit different. The NFL draft was here in Green Bay this past weekend. Huge event. And they are donating a lot of the signage and stuff to charities that might need it. So for those who don't know, I volunteer with the American Red Cross. I am the disaster lead for my county and 2 neighboring counties. And so I am coordinating an auction. We're going to do a charity auction selling NFL draft stuff. I don't know what all we're going to get. But right now we're heading over there to get the giant, like 80-foot sign that was above the stage. That one's gonna be interesting, getting that loaded up. But I've got one of our customers is donating his time. He's bringing a trailer to load it up and bring it to us. I don't know what this, I mean, it could go for $50,000 for all I know. But it's also giant, and how many people are going to have use for it, so I don't know. But they said, the NFL told me that the Hall of Fame went through, took whatever they wanted, everything else is up for grabs for us. Most of what's left is like wood, lumber, pieces of the stage and stuff. I don't know that that's really worth grabbing, that people would want that. I've got a whole bunch of signs and banners already at the warehouse ready to go for that, so we're going to try and get an auction up and quickly while it's still fresh in people's minds, and probably reach out to the local media with a press release for it, because I think a lot of people would be interested in this. I think my truck's too quiet. He doesn't hear me. These roads are all still closed off. I'm surprised they still have the light running. So most of this is just parts of the stage I don't think is really sellable. I think we're gonna grab these if there's room.
Alright, shut up. Yep, you're good. Good. Go slowly.
There's just so much stuff. It's probably just gonna get tossed. Stuff that I don't think really has any special value. We got a bunch of turf here, which could be good, but I don't know. It's not like real turf, it's just carpeting, and it's kind of all just thrown together. But these I think I might go for. I'll need to come back probably tomorrow. But this is these are heavy. This is the branding for all the teams. Never mind, someone actually cut it off of each of these. So it's just the boards now. That's a bummer. So I definitely won't be coming back for these. So the NFL was super cool. I think they're a company that the NFL deals with, because they're the green waste management company that tries to make sure, you know, this is as environmentally friendly as possible. And they drove me around, trying to help me find the coolest things. And they're gonna call me if any more, you know, cool stuff comes up. I'm pretty excited about this. Those big boxes ended up being, we just took the signs off of them. We're gonna leave the box frames. I don't think those are as necessary, but we're heading back to the warehouse now. And the guy who was nice enough to help out, a client of mine, he is, I don't think the Red Cross is gonna notice if a couple signs go missing. I'm gonna let him have some. So this one's pretty heavily damaged, but the others aren't in terrible shape. The problem is we're missing an A. So there's not much new stuff here, but she just got radioed. They have a sign that was on the 50-yard line, and she said, "Oh, do you want that?" So I'm heading over to look at it because probably. I wonder what happened to the big sign that was up there. You don't get to drive through here very often. Oh, there's Dan. The one on the 50 was like just a giant banner, essentially. A lot of these are cut off, but that one up there is still good. It's too windy for them to take that down. But I've got over there, one of the guys who works here cutting some pictures of hats off. So I'm told up there is basically all cleared out. I went around on the golf cart with one of the event organizers and found a few signs, some cool ones, and he cut off parts of the branding on one of the tents for me. But couldn't find the A for the draft sign. We also got a whole bunch more stage pieces, so we're heading to the warehouse to unload that now. So we got a whole bunch of pieces of the stage here, over here. These are wood made to look like metal, but we got 3 of these. I got a section of brick. It got soaked in the rain, and it's like a cardboard material, so that should hopefully dry. Tons and tons of signage. Ben's going through a bunch of the signs. This thing is absolutely huge.
That's remarkable.
And we've got a ton of these. So we got a whole bunch of flagpoles now. So it is day 3 heading over here. The final day, they should have it all cleaned up by the end of today. So we'll see what we find. I think I'm gonna grab some stage pieces. That is taken down now, which is nice because part of that I wanted. So we'll see if they set it aside for me. So I'm just trying to grab little things that people will fit in their houses. But there was another big Bud Light one that I think if I can get him out here with this trailer, I'm gonna grab. I'm trying to see what else is over here. There's not a whole lot. These beams I would like to grab because I think people would want to set these up in their house. This is a real shame how damaged that got because I think this would be really good if it was undamaged. I figured out these were on the entrance to the stage. They were upright on either side of the door. These are way too big. I decided I'm grabbing this anyways. I just cut it off. Worst case, I can just throw it out. But this is my only chance to grab it, so. I got a couple of sets of stairs. There's some folding tables that they just brought out. That's pretty cool. All right, all loaded up. I'm checking one other area and then I'm out of here. There's a whole bunch of coroplast yet that they're waiting till noon for me to take. Making some good progress taking that thing down. Boy, this area cleared out. They got all the fencing down. Oh, I might grab some of this. That's what I was looking for. And I see some more stuff here that I would be interested in. Oh yeah, if they'll let me take it. So I'm gonna go drop this off and come back. They have, I think I gotta make a U-turn. A lot of the stuff I wanted is being saved, that I saw up on buildings and stuff. But the rest of the Coroplast signs, there's the Humane Society will be here in a few minutes to pick them up. So I'm going to drop off and come back. They said I could have whatever's left. Part of me wants to hang out so I can convince them not to take them, because they're just using them for like animal barriers and, you know, some of the good ones. But I think I got all the really good ones. So this looks like decent banners in this dumpster. All the plastic signage was picked up by the Humane Society, but I'm going to try and dig some of this out. There's some good stuff in here. A lot of vinyl. It's a little bit of fence mesh. But I saw one that was really cool. This is folded a couple times. The truck is about as full as it's gonna get, but I have to get all of these. One of these has all the teams on it. There's some money in this dumpster. This thing's probably about 30 feet long. I think there's a good chance those banners I found in the dumpster were the ones on top of the stage. They said they gave them to the packers, but based on where they are, she told me the packers were like, wow, these are really big. So they might be those. The packers may have just thrown them out. And now I have them. I keep stopping to chat with the security guard at the gate. And I was, whoa, what happened here? The whole side of the building's missing. Must be doing some construction now that drafts over. Anyways, the security guard was like super excited when I told him what I found in there. I really think these are from the top of the stage. So apparently they're sticking around for a few more hours. She said stop back, there might be more stuff. So I think I will be making one more trip here later on this afternoon. And she said she would text me if anything cool or good comes up too. So, because they know what we're looking for. So they're really awesome. The company that I'm working with is called NG. I think it stands for New Green, but it's spelled out E-N-G-E, maybe a second E. And their job, my dream job, this is so cool. They come out to big events like this and they just try to eliminate trash, eliminate waste, find reuses for things. And that is the coolest job ever. If I didn't have my business, I would probably be applying to that company. But she also says she spends like 3 weeks of the month on the road too. So I don't think Cristiano would want me to take that job. So one big regret that I have, had I known, I realized this like the third day that I was there. But initially I was just looking for signage. The stage pieces ended up doing so well, and I figured they would, but I didn't realize it until like the third day there. And there was, especially watching this as I'm editing this video, by the way, this is Resale Rabbit from the future. I'm realizing there was so much more that first and even the second day that would have done so well in the auction that I thought, oh, it's just pieces of the stage, it's just lumber, it's not gonna sell. Yeah, I realized about halfway through while I was there that I should have been grabbing more of that stuff. And I did towards the end, but there was so much more in the beginning. This thing is massive. We'll just take a walk. I don't know what someone will do with this, but it's vinyl, so it could, in theory, go outside. This is massive. Getting a measurement now. We're over 60 feet already. Yeah, about 100 feet. 99 feet, 1 inch. But I don't know how super accurate this thing is, so probably about 100 feet. This one isn't nearly as cool. Just is on location all the way down, but it does have the Green Bay and Draft logos, so it might do all right. This thing is massive. I think this one is my favorite one so far. I love the color on this. This is really cool. And then we got the football with the logo. We've got some more manageable sized ones too. These are all wet, so we're kind of letting them dry. They were out in the rain. I think these were in the green room, and I found 5 of these so far. And then 2 of this one. This is vinyl, that's vinyl. A couple of these were ripped up a little bit, but I think they'll be still sellable. And then these are like a fabric material, almost like a thick flag. This one's pretty cool with all the teams. We have the Draft logo in the middle and over here. We got this one with the dates on it, and I have no idea who this guy is. I'll have to figure out. It might be Kendrick Lamar because he did the halftime show. This one's gonna go really high. It's a manageable size, so your average everyday fan could put it in their garage or something. It's got the football, the draft logo. It's like jersey material. This is the fence mesh they use so the wind can go through it. This has everything you want. You got a football, you get the draft logo, you've got Green Bay. It's even got a map here. It has some nearby towns. And it's really big, but it's a manageable size. This could still go on a garage wall.
Did your job putting a map together?
So they just made stuff up. This is not the shape of Brown County. There is no Lansing, Wisconsin here. That's like by Clintonville, that area. Wapaka's accurate. Plover, I think, is much further north. Someone did not look at a map when they did this, and I have no idea what. I think that's Great, something like that. No clue what that is. But I looked up Lansing, Wisconsin, and nothing came up. Then we got this one with the football and the logo on it. These are, I can't believe these were just in the trash. So the guy that's been helping me with the trailer and everything, he stopped by just for auction pickup from some stuff he had. I was looking at the banners. He says, I'm gonna go back there and see if there's anything else. And he found a bar. So he brought this to us so we could throw this in the auction. So my goal is to get this auction done this weekend. I don't think that's gonna happen. The Coroplast sign's super easy. I burned through 20 of them in like half an hour. And then it's taken me probably 20 minutes just to get this thing laid out. And I've got so many of these. This is about the best it's gonna be. I think this is gonna be very time consuming. This one's cool. It's a shame there's a rip up there and some on the logo, but it says Green Bay is on the clock. Or no, greatness is on the clock. It has the draft logo. That is the worst spot for a rip though. It's smaller, this one's 50 feet. So this one's just sponsors. I'm not sure it'll do so well, but I already put the time to lay it out. I'm already gonna have to take the time to fold it up, so I might as well add it. I'm gonna take less time to make sure it's flat and nice though. So these really long 100-foot ones, I think whoever buys them is gonna cut them up. That way they're more manageable to hang up. But you got three big things here. You get the football with the logo, you cut this off. You got the draft logo here. And then down here, you got NFL Draft 2025 with the NFL logo, Green Bay. So you have this. So you kind of have 3 in 1. This is from the draft experience. I'm not gonna cut it. I'm gonna let Wire. This one's in a pretty nice shape. There's a little stain right there. This one's a little bit weird. And I think I only saw one rip. That's all the way down to the end. Right there. This kind of stinks it's on the picture, but see these rips, I'm surprised that's the only one. Or maybe there's more and I just didn't notice them. But what they'll do is this will be attached to the fence. Then they'll have wires coming off the fence going to concrete, like weights. They look like jersey blocks almost, or jersey barricades. And so they'll cut a little hole in it to run the cable. And I'm really surprised that's the only one on here. But this one's pretty neat. I think this one could do pretty well. I guess this one's a 100-footer. Right on the money. It's actually probably a little bit longer once you stretch it tight. It's very staticky, but it's like folding a fitted sheet. It's not gonna be perfect. You just kind of roll it up. These were easy. I did 20 lots in like the first 30 minutes, and then the next hour-ish, I got 5 lots done. I have a ton of these. This is gonna be very time consuming. I'm doing 5 of these next. These were barrier covers. So like the barricades that look like bike racks, these were draped over them there. Almost like a rubbery silicone material. I'll have to do some Googling and figure out what to call it. But these will be easy because I just lay them out and quick take the pictures. These are kind of cool. I don't know if this is gonna be more desirable or less desirable. They were never used. This one, unfortunately, is just the sponsors, but it actually has the proof with it and all of the info. This one doesn't have that. It just has this. It says 100 feet, and it's number 2 of 5. So I have no idea. It looks like it has one of the maps on it, Wisconsin map. I don't know what's on it, but I just took pictures like that because I think it's cool that it's still all wrapped up. I feel like someone would be excited about that. So a couple things you might notice, I switched sides. The bottom of it was here and I rotated so it was there, and the reason is because see how my shadow is cast? The sun's low in the sky, so I don't want to be standing on this side when I'm taking pictures. I want to be standing on this side so you can't see my shadow, but I also want the bottom to be down. I started bringing the ladder out for these, but I don't know how much better it does. And then I'll come inside and I'll take one more picture of it folded up. And the reason is, if these lot cards, we'll put the inventory tag on, if this ever gets separated, there's so many of them here, I'm not gonna know which ones they go to. So they look at least somewhat different, like this one's got red, this one's got green, white. The other one up there is kind of blue and black, so it's a little bit easier to find without having to actually unfold them. Then I enter it into the system here. This is just an Excel spreadsheet that I actually import into our system. And lot number, description, and Y or N, whether or not it can be shipped. And then that's where it will go until the customer picks it up. I did make a judgment call, hold on. Then I will grab a picture of the next inventory tag and go outside. These banners, the fence mesh here, are taking about 10 minutes, give or take, for each one, start to finish. So I've got 8 of them that I want to get done before I start doing signs again. That's 80 minutes, that's almost an hour and a half. But then I'll do another 20 plastic signs and I'll be able to get through those, all 20 of them, in half an hour tops. I did make a judgment call. We're gonna run this auction a little bit longer than we normally do. Instead of having it end after a week, we're gonna run it 2 weeks, just because I think it'll give time. The media, I think, is gonna get involved, so we'll get time for stuff like that, people to see it. I mean, this is a once in a lifetime auction, so if you're looking to buy draft stuff, it's not like when we're doing an auction full of tools or collectibles, we'll probably get similar stuff again within the next few months. Not this time. This one's pretty cool. I don't love the red color scheme. It says welcome to Green Bay on it. And it's got the draft logo on the end. It's another 100-footer. I don't think I'm gonna bid on any of these. I don't know, they're too big. They take up too much real estate, and I think a lot of people are gonna feel that way. I don't know how well these are gonna do, but you never know. Large event hall or something. There's a place that has like indoor sand volleyball. This would be perfect for them. They've got the space for it. It's kind of the right subject matter, and you know, you put it on the outside of the building, but these are not meant to be outside permanently. They're meant to be outside for a few days. I bet after a month this would be really sun faded, and after a year it would probably have holes in it and look really crappy. So you'd have to store it inside, display it inside somehow. I like this one, NFL Draft, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Well, this one was a lot easier. So we're up to 60 lots now. Got all the banners here and the signs. I'm doing 20 to a stack, and I'm gonna label them so they're easy to find. But this one's cool. It's got the window that opens up so they'd have the schedule or whoever was signing autographs that day or hour. It's got a card company. It doesn't say draft on it though, unfortunately. It's double-sided. I think it'd be really cool if you got something signed putting it in here. But you can put whatever you want in there. I think that would be kind of neat. I don't know, this might be one of the higher dollar ones. That, and this one because it says Lombardi Avenue. We got a couple of bar menus in here. These I think will do really well. This one doesn't say draft, but it's got Reggie White, Mike Holmgren, Mike McCarthy, and then of course United Street as well. So I feel like with the, you know, player names, coach names, local feel of that, I think this will do well. There, I've got them labeled. They seem obvious now, but midway through pickup day, when half of these in a random positions are gone, it's gonna be a lot harder to just figure out which stack they're on. So having those marked will be a lot easier. This one is really hard to do by myself. It's like an air mattress, like a cloth on top, but rubber on the bottom. 57 feet by 15 feet. It's really cool. But man, I'm dreading folding this up. I had a hard enough time unfolding it. All folded up, I bet this thing's 100 pounds. I really like this one. I like the color. It's got the football. The only thing I don't like is it doesn't say Green Bay on it. But this is something that is very big, but it's not too big. Most people can hang this in their garage. It just would take up a good chunk of the wall. It's not like the 50 or 100 foot ones Those ones you need a very specific buyer. AFC logo. I don't remember seeing an NFC, so I think it's just this one. I wonder what this was used for. I didn't really want these because they were cut off. I think they said the NFL or maybe the Packers cut a bunch of stuff off of this building. This is the side of a building that they had their NFL shop in. And they cut a bunch of pieces off that they were going to give as gifts to employees and stuff. And these were partially cut. So I didn't really want them, but the guy that was helping me grabbed them. So I figured might as well list them since we have them. You know, maybe someone would want it just to cut the logo off and get rid of the rest or something. You never know. This is the current year hat too, so that might make it a little more exciting. This is pretty cool. I was hesitant to grab it because the bricks are made of like a paper board and it was out in the rain all night. But it actually dried out just fine. I think this will do pretty well. It's a wood frame. The brick face is like a paper board and it's from Stage Right. But it's getting pretty late, so I think that's where I'm gonna call it today. I'm at 76 lots. I was hoping to be at 100. Hopefully tomorrow I can pick it up and make some pretty healthy progress because I'm estimating this will be about 300 lots and I really wanted to get it done this weekend and that's obviously not going to happen. So we're back. It's the next day. I listed these pictures that we got and then the letters, I couldn't figure out what they go to. It's probably missing some. I also listed these separately from the big signs and the reason this thing got so heavily damaged. I mean, these numbers are destroyed. I think whoever buys this one is going to use the parts off of it, and they're probably going to throw these away. So I feel like it makes sense. If I had the time, I would probably take all the letters off, do each letter individually, and then the framing I would, pull apart into pieces and sell those separately, but I just don't have the time for it. But at the very least, since those two were already off, and the signs here are so destroyed, I'm going to sell them separately. I don't know if this one's cool or not. It just says Verizon, but it's got the Wisconsin map on it. The incorrect Wisconsin map, not the right shape of Brown County. There's no Lansing. Oh, they don't have the weird thing in Door County they were showing before. That's accurate. Oconto River. Menominee City. There's a Menominee in Michigan kind of in that area. Plover. It's probably the Portage River. La Crosse River, which I think is further over, but I'm not certain. I don't know a lot about the western part of the state. But whoever designed this map doesn't really know how Wisconsin looks. It's also a lot windier today, and that's posing an issue. I don't know if I showed this earlier in the video, but one of the earlier lots was welcome to Green Bay, but it was cut off. Found the cutoff. Kind of funny that I ended up getting both of them. Also, it's not super windy out, but the breezes and gusts that we have is making this very difficult. Right as I was walking up to get a picture, the wind blew this over. This one's kind of neat, Green Bay 2025. And when I pulled it out of the pallet, it was all balled up. I saw this, I thought it was staining. And these are all still a little bit damp because they were out in the rain. And these ones were kind of balled up on a pallet. So I was worried it was starting to mold. Having it in the sun, even just for the 10 minutes I'm taking pictures, they're not super wet, they're just damp. That'll dry it out nicely. And obviously that was just the print. So it's 25 feet, and this is, I think, the perfect size. In this industry, I guess, bigger is usually better because the small stuff, there's a lot more supply of it. There's not so much of the big stuff out there. So it's more rare, and when it's a big thing like this, it's a real statement piece. The thing is, the ones that are 100 feet long, how do you display it? 25, this will be like the entire back wall of your garage. It'll display really nice. 100 feet long, I mean, if you've got, say, a 2.5 stall garage, it's probably about 25 by 25. You could wrap around 3 of the walls and get 75 feet, but that takes up all of your wall space. I really think the 100-foot ones, even the 50-foot ones, are likely going to be cut up and just the logos will be saved by whoever buys them, unless it's a unique situation like I mentioned the bar in town that has the indoor sand volleyball or beach volleyball. They've got the space where they can display something that size. For your average person, they don't. It would look great on the fence, but it wouldn't survive long term outside. I know I've said that a whole bunch of times, but I've been on YouTube a while. I know that certain things will end up in the comments. And my goal is to say it enough times where the only reason it ends up in the comments is people making a joke. Because if I just said it once, I know that people are like, well, you could put it on the fence. That would be a good way to display it. If I say it 100 times, then people will say tongue-in-cheek, oh, why don't you put it on the fence? So that's kind of why I keep saying that. Also, I'm filming this over several days, and sometimes I forget what I said to you guys, what I said to other people, and what I just said to myself. So sometimes I'll go through and edit a whole video and go, I could have sworn I said this. Oh boy, the comments are gonna get on me about that. So now I just overdo it. Also, based on the subject matter, I think this is gonna be one of those videos that gets a lot of views from people who aren't regular viewers, people who aren't subscribers. Kind of like the Milwaukee and DeWalt pallet unboxing videos that I do from time to time. And it brings out a lot of great people, but it also brings out the worst of people. And I just know it's gonna happen on this one. But the ones that bring out so many extra people are the ones that are generally the most fun to film, the most fun things to do. So I still enjoy doing those kind of videos. By the way, if you're new here, I collect signs too. And then I've got some massive ones over there. Speaking of things that I don't know if I said on the video or not, the waste just shocks me. Some of it, I get it. You know, you want to have this custom branded and it's not really usable after this event. I totally get it. That's how events like this work. But you know, this sign probably costs $200,000 to have made. These things are insanely expensive. Why not reuse it next year? All you have to do is take the 5 off and put on a 6. It costs you about $10,000, $15,000 tops, which is a lot cheaper than, you know, $200,000 for the whole thing. Yes, it's Packer green. This could have been painted. Well, first off, you could also just repaint the whole thing for another few $1,000s, or just have it black. It's above the stage. I didn't even know this thing was in color anyway when I was looking up at it. Just make it black. It's a neutral color. You can reuse it every year. You know, for the next 4 more years, it just costs you if you replace 1 letter. And then after that, you replace 2 letters for 2030. If you really wanted to get frugal, you could save the letters and, you know, swap them out later, but that's, I think, getting a little excessive. Storing it can't be that bad. The NFL has to have a warehouse somewhere where they can store this. I mean, even if you just leased a warehouse to store, I pay about $80,000 to rent this place. This is a 16,000 square foot warehouse. You do not need that much. When I expanded back here, this was 3 different suites. I cut a door in here and took down some walls, but this one here is, I think it was like 1,500 square feet or something like that, 2,000 square feet. It was $1,000 a month. That sign would fit in here very easily with plenty more space. $1,000 a month, that's $12,000 a year. And this is a pretty good location. You could probably find something, you know, that isn't a great location for a business, but it's just fine for storage, somewhere in the country, probably in Ohio, because I think NFL's operations are New York, but I was thinking like Canton, the Hall of Fame, that area. I'm sure somewhere outside of Canton, you can find a warehouse to store this for less than $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year, plus another $10,000 to replace the sign. That's $22,000 to reuse the sign for next year. And I don't think it would cost much to take it down in a safer manner so it can be reused so it doesn't get all beat up. I don't know why the NFL spends so much money on something like that. And I looked at the pictures from Detroit last year and the sign looked identical, other than the, you know, it said 24 instead of 25. But other than that, font, size, everything looked identical. It's not a Resale Rabbit video if I don't go on a rant or tirade about something. So I need to get back to work because I'm running out of daylight. The wind has finally died down a little bit, or a lot, so I don't really even need the weights. So I'm gonna try and get as many of these done before I lose sun. My shadow's creeping closer now. Once the shadow comes further over, it's not a big deal. It's still bright enough. I just don't want the line of the shadow in the middle of the banner. So maybe another hour and I'll go on that side of the shadow. But eventually it's gonna start getting too dark. You know, the funny part is, as I was going on a rant about how you can't reuse these because of the branding, I happen to be pulling one out that just says NFL Draft. It doesn't have the year, doesn't have the location. I'm sure the style, color scheme, font and stuff probably changes year to year, but I found that amusing. But anyways, some of these have tags on them. It's a long walk here. This is a 50-footer, and this one's pretty cool. It doesn't have the year or the city, which takes away, but it's still pretty cool. Some of these have tags like this, and they say 2 of 4. And in the collectibles market, that does provide value, but I don't know if it really makes a difference for these, because I probably have just about all of the ones that exist here. So if we have one of these in the auction, that means it's probably one of 1 remaining. I thought this is another one of the Verizon ones, but it's not. I don't know what it is, but it's not the Verizon one. NFL Draft. I don't know what that is. This 2025. I don't know if this is, looks like NFL 2025. I don't know if this is part of one where they had multiple together. A lot of the style here is kind of where it's cut off a little bit though. So, but this one seems to be cut off a little bit more, so I'm not sure. I wonder if this is the other half of it or if this is something else. I think it's something else. It's not red enough to be the other half. I wasn't a huge fan of this style when they did it, but it looks really bad up close. But you got NFL Draft, NFL. There's a 2025 mixed in there. I don't know. Colors are cool. So this one's cool, and it's one that I'm really considering cutting up. It's the NFC West. You've got all 4 teams here. I almost feel like if we just sold this one, just sold this section, that section, it's going to do better, because a 49er fan only wants this. He doesn't want all of that. A Seahawks fan only wants this, doesn't want any of the rest of it. So I think as a whole, the banner would go for more, but I'm not sure. And this stuff is going to be, all these banners are shippable. So, I mean, this could go to any one of these cities. I really don't know on this one. All right, decision's been made. I'm gonna cut it. I asked a buddy of mine who's like, he works with this type of stuff, and he's kind of been consulting me through the process, because we do collectibles, but not like this type of stuff. He said because of the size, it's gonna be hard for anyone to display, and this way you can market it to fans of each team, kind of what I was thinking. So what I'm gonna do is grab one of the blank ones that doesn't have any print, doesn't have any value, and cut that first, just to see, because if this falls apart, if it doesn't cut well, then I'm gonna leave it whole, but that way I can do a test piece without damaging something, decent. These actually cut pretty easy. I thought I was gonna struggle with it, and it felt so wrong doing it, but I think they'll sell well that way, and whoever buys it will want to cut that little bit of excess off. Oh, that's nice. That's gonna make this easy. Like there's a little bit of blue on the edge. Not that my cut was off, but you can see how they kind of had them meshed together like that. So yeah, a little slice there, maybe a thin one along there, run a hem on each side, and it'll be good as new. So we've got a long one here that's just sponsors. Then these were all stuck together with Velcro. This is NFL Draft Eve. There must have been some events the night before. And then I've got 2 of these. Sign up for field tours. This one's kind of cool. It's, it's probably 3x5, something like that. Got the draft logo. And this one is less cool, but I initially thought these were just more Verizon like this. I was gonna pair them together. I'll just do it on its own. You never know. Maybe someone owns a Verizon store or something and wants it. But yeah, when they took it off, it just unstuck from whatever they had it attached to. The Velcro didn't really help them much. I wonder if anyone will buy a whole bunch of used Velcro that was used in the draft. Probably not. I'm throwing it away. So I'm obviously running out of daylight. This is a cool one. This is Greatness is on the clock. Has this. Unfortunately, this, which is one of the cooler parts, is all ripped up. But it's not the end of the world, because this is still really cool. So they can just slice it right here. Maybe just have this as one and keep that as one. Who knows what the buyers will do. But I wanted to rush. It's gonna be kind of funny looking at the photos, because they get darker and darker as the auction goes on, and then suddenly bright again when the next day starts. But I wanted to rush to get this done because I just finished off a pallet. So 2 of the 4 pallets of banners are done. Although the first one that I did yesterday was a pretty small pallet, but 2 of the 4 are done. So it's gotta be almost 9 o'clock. 8:30. I didn't do these yet because I can do them inside the building. And I'm at like 114 or so, so I really want to push to try and get to 150. I can do the Coroplast signs next, a nice little run of those. And that should at least get me close, and it won't take too long. It'll probably take me longer to fold this up than it will be to do 20 or so of the Coroplast. All right, so I'm done for the day. I got through 151. We filled up this side of the tables. We got a lot of the banners. I got these in here. This one I think is gonna do really well. Is the directional sign when you walked in. There are a couple of cool ones in here. Credentialed staff only. There are 2 of those, and this one's a directory for the staff area. For instance, the green room. And then also I did these. These are heavy signs. I decided not to cut them just because they're metal. I'd have to get my table saw over here. I'd have to get a special blade for it, and time is just, it would take too much time. So I did this one last, so it's on the outside because the colors, they kind of look good together here. There's a Rams Cardinals one that the colors also looked pretty cool, but I had already done it by the time I thought to hold one back. It'll look good when the media's here taking pictures. So that is, there are 11 of those, so 22 of the 32 teams. The NFC North is gone. Packers, Bears, Lions, Vikings. Those were probably taken by the Packers, and they're going to probably display them somewhere, maybe in the Hall of Fame. Makes sense. The Cowboys, I sat and figured them out. The Cowboys Giants one is missing. Probably somebody higher up is a Cowboys fan. Maybe Jerry Jones took it. What else was there? Raiders Chargers one is missing. No clue why. You know, again, probably someone higher up is a fan. And then the Titans Jaguars one is gone because the people who helped me, since they volunteered their time essentially over the course of 3 days, I let them take a couple of them. And one of the guys who helped is a Titans fan, so he took the one that was the Titans Jaguars. And he says he's going to cut the one he's taking. So I might shoot him a message and see if he wants to get rid of the Jaguars one. And we can run it through the auction. And I'm not going to take it as a consignment, at least not for this auction, because everything's going to the Red Cross. But if he wants to donate it to the Red Cross, I mean, I know as a Packer fan, I wouldn't want a Bears one. So if I were to cut just keep the Packers one, I'd probably just toss the Bears one. Okay, I'm a reseller. I would sell the Bears one, but you get the idea. Tomorrow, staff will be back. We don't work weekends. I came in this weekend to get this one done. So I'm gonna start on the big stuff because I'll have helped to move it. And then I still have a bunch of some of the big Coroplasts, the tall Coroplasts, 2 sizable stacks of the smaller ones, and then all of this. There's 2 left on there. This pallet's full. That pallet's full, and this one's full. I think a lot of this is blank stuff though on this pallet, and we're just gonna lot that up. I don't think many people are gonna want just plain green ones. The blank ones that were still new, looks like there's one down there, I don't know what's on it, but those ones I did do because, you know, they were unused. But the other ones we're just gonna do maybe lots of 5, lots of 10, maybe just fill a pallet. It depends how many there are. This I'm really excited to see. This is the one that sat on the 50-yard line. That's a much heavier material, thicker material. And then who knows what's in here. I doubt there's gonna be anything super cool in these, but you know, there might be something, you know, different, kind of like the NFC West ones that I found. And of course we've got these 2. We have more big pieces over there. Oh yeah, I've got these yet. So some of these, like this, I'm just gonna sell like this. Maybe someone will be able to cut it up. This, we tried, we can't get these apart, so that's just gonna be sold like this. That, I couldn't get that piece off, so we're gonna leave it. I did cut off this one. Oh, I gotta get this tape off. This did come off fairly easy when it didn't have another sheet over it. It cut really easy. You score it and break it like a piece of drywall. This one has some damage, but I think it'll do. This is a Hilton now. I'm gonna reach out to the Hilton and see if they're interested in buying it. So I got a couple of good ones here. There are a couple of smaller ones there that, like this one got damaged. I think this is the other half. Oh. No, that's the other half. Someone will probably still buy this. Maybe they'll put it up, who knows. They're not gonna pay a lot for it. Maybe this sells for $5 or $10. It's better than throwing it away. Keeps it out of the landfill, and it's another $5 or $10 going to the Red Cross. So every dollar goes a long way. I'm gonna shut off lights here and get home because let's see what time it is. It is 10:30 at night. I still need to shower, eat some dinner, crash, and then I gotta be back at it first thing in the morning. I've got a very early morning too, because the HVAC people are coming to do my AC tune-up at 8 a.m. Probably shouldn't have stayed this late, but I really wanted to get to 150 lots. I got to 151, so to finish that grouping. My initial goal was 100 a day this weekend, but last night there was a family thing. Someone was in the hospital, so I was there all night and didn't get here until 3 p.m. today because I had to sleep in because I didn't get to bed till super late. So, yeah, it's dark now. I'm rushing to try and get this done. I basically have one more full day tomorrow, and it's not even really a full day because I have a meeting in the afternoon and then the AC tune-ups in the morning. So it's gonna be a short day tomorrow to get all this done. There's no way I'm gonna get it done tomorrow. The media starts coming on Tuesday, the newspaper, Tuesday at 2 p.m. So I need to be ready by then. At least have the stuff up so they can take some pictures. They told me they're not gonna run the story until the auction is online, which I told them was projected to be Tuesday or Wednesday. So at the very least, I'm not on that big of a race against time, but we wanna get this up sooner rather than later while people are still thinking about and excited about the draft. So it's 4:30 on Monday, and I'm kind of just getting started here, and I have a 6 o'clock meeting, so I've got very little time today. So I called the newspaper. The reason is because that trailer I had to get emptied out today because that's going up for auction at the same time, and Mitch is a little behind on that. So we had an off-site auction last week that put us all behind on everything. Anyways, the only thing I got done was this. We cleared this area out and stacked up all this big stuff. I did fix the letters on that. One of these, this shelf was broken off. It wasn't broken off, but I think it was this one. The screws were sticking out. They weren't very long screws, so I pushed it back in. Whoever buys it, if they want to keep that, will probably want to put longer screws. Same with the other ones. But anyway, so I got these set up here so I can get some pictures. I've got a sports memorabilia guy on his way over. He wants to look at some of the stuff. He's the guy that was helping out before. I'm gonna try and get as much as I can get done in the next hour. It's probably not gonna be much, but I was able to push the newspaper back a day. So instead of them coming tomorrow, they're coming Wednesday, the next day. So that essentially bought me another day. As far as timetable, because I decided to run this for 2 weeks instead of one, it needed to be up Wednesday for the 1 week because it's got to close on a Wednesday. So, and it needs to be up like Wednesday morning, and there's some, behind the scenes, back end stuff that needs to be done to get it online. It's not just take the pictures, we have to do other stuff. So we were shooting, if I finished it tomorrow, having it up Wednesday morning. That's not going to happen. The hope is we have it up Thursday morning. But anyways, all that to say, because we pushed the auction, because we're running it 2 weeks instead of one, if it goes up Thursday or Friday, it's not that big of a deal. It's still going to be much longer than a typical auction. So looking at these pallets, it doesn't look as bad. This one, like I said, looks like a lot of blank ones. So this one is going to be a lot less than what it appears. And this one, it looks like it's primarily these barricade covers. I was doing these individually. We may have to lot them up because there are so many and they're all identical. So, I mean, this one we're gonna have the 50-yard line thing, this banner, which looks really cool. And it looks like the rest of it's just barricade covers. So it's really this one is the volume, and there's a lot of banners in here, fence mesh in here, and whatever this is. I think it's one of the vertical ones. So definitely got my work cut out for me here. And then I've got 2 more on that pallet. So this was pretty drenched, so I'm letting it dry. It's not anything too exciting. This is really cool. It's a shame it's damaged. It almost looks like someone cut it with scissors. to get it off whatever was on, but some damage here, and this is the worst of it. Splits green and bay in half, but feels like it's gotten pretty dry. But this thing is like the size of my house. This is what sat on the 50-yard line. Holy crap. It's something that's so cool to have, but I don't know how anyone would ever display it. I had a really hard time unfolding it, so you get to watch me try and fold it back up. This should be interesting. Obviously that was sped up. It's like a 15-minute walk just to get from one end to the other though. That thing, and it's very heavy. I bet it weighs 150 pounds. I'm out of breath. Maybe I need to exercise more. So these barrier covers, I just sorted them all. There might still be some in that pallet over there. But I got 16 of the NFL shop ones. These are cool. These ones, so I'm debating if I want to lot them together. Now these ones will definitely go individual. I only have 4 of them. I've got 3 more of the NFL Plus ones. I've got a huge stack of the Play Football ones, a huge stack of the NFL Flag Football ones, and a huge stack of the Throwback ones. I feel like the Play Football and the Flag Football will both do well. I could see, people who, the kids play wanting them. And then of course these draft ones are gonna do really well. The NFL shop ones I could see doing well. The Throwback ones not so much. So I think what I'm gonna do is all the Throwback ones, it'll just be one lot. The other ones, they're kind of all in the same condition. So I'm just gonna take a picture of one of them a whole bunch of times, and we'll stack it on a pallet, and whoever gets it just gets whatever's on the top one on the pallet. I think that's gonna make pickup go a lot faster. So I just gotta make sure I have accurate counts, and then we'll have them sorted. So instead of, you have the 4th one down, since they're all in the same condition, you just have one of them, it doesn't matter. That way I can do all of them. The process will go faster for listing, the process will go faster for pickup, and yeah, I think that's the way to go. Never done that before where I have like a stock photo. It's always been, this is the photo of the exact item that you're getting, but they're kind of all in the same condition, so I think it'll be okay. And once I finish those, this pallet will basically be done. These are just sponsor banners, so there's, I think, 3 of them there. That'll be one lot, but I'll wait till later because I bet there are more in here. Then I'll go through this one, sort out all the blank ones. This was not sorted, at least I didn't sort it. Maybe the people at the stadium sorted it. But all the blank ones probably gonna go in one lot. Maybe we'll split them into a couple of lots, and then I'll get rid of this pallet. And then we have this one to go through, which I think will be time consuming. There's probably at least 20 of them in here. That's 200 minutes at 10 minutes each, which is 3 hours, 3.5 hours. With breaks in the middle, I think I can get this done today. Once all the banners are done, we're golden. We are Matthew Golden, because all that's left, I've got these stage panels, some signs. Ben laid everything out here, so it's gonna be easy to take pictures. And then that piece I haven't done yet. I wanted to do that separate from all of the stage pieces. And then the columns. I've also got up front maybe another, 75 or so of the Coroplast signs, which those go really fast. I've got this foam board here. I think this will go pretty fast. I still have to clear off the bar and get that listed. Some of the brick pieces, and then these crown blocks, and then that plank and the lens. Oh, and then I've got a bunch of banners like the really good ones that I found in the dumpster over by the door. I think we probably won't get this done today, but I think we'll have enough progress where by the time the newspaper gets here, the Press Gazette tomorrow, I think we'll be done. It, like I said, doesn't need to be uploaded, doesn't need to be done when they get here. It just needs to be staged where they can take pictures. And honestly, at this point, we're there. But the closer I am to done, then I can have counts and I can say, okay, we've got 150 Coroplast signs. We've got, I'm pretty sure my rough count was about 150, but I can have an exact number, and I can say we've got 110 banners. We've got 28 pieces of the stage. And I think they're gonna want that information for their article. They don't need it, but it's helpful for us and helpful for them. So I'm hoping to have it, if not done by the time they get here, pretty much done, where we've got numbers. So we have 16 total of the flag football ones, which I have folded and stacked right here. It's a little time consuming to do this. So I got all the banners sorted now. Here's what we got. Those are new ones. This is a new one. These and these are blank. So I don't know where I was. I got a phone call. New ones, blank ones, blank ones. This, along with 5 or 6 on there, are the cloth barrier covers that are like 25 to 100 feet long that just have sponsors. I think I listed 2 of them. I'm gonna get rid of the rest. These, when I say get rid of, I mean like all of these are gonna be lotted together. These, there's so many of them because I've got another pile. There might be a couple of lots, but I'm not doing them individually. Over here, I found another one of these, so I'll have to add it. This is 2 piles, believe it or not. Blank ones, and these ones are just sponsors. There's nothing else on it. I listed a couple of them. I don't think people are gonna, I could see people wanting them and cut them and just hang the Jersey Mike's one or just the Bud Light one. I'll let whoever buys that whole lot make that decision. And then I think I counted 9 between here, the cart, the 2 piles on the floor, and then on the bottom of that pile, there are 2 more that I just left on the pallet a while ago. 9 that look to be decent ones to list, like that have the draft logo and print and stuff on it. And that's it. Now, I also have the other half of this pile, the ones that are primarily black and green, not the ones with the white, are also sponsor ones, but they're barrier covers. So they're, I don't know, 7 by 5 feet, something like that. And they have a sponsor on it. I've also got a big stack of them right here. So these ones are gonna go individual because those are the ones that I think someone would wanna hang up. Bud Light, Snickers. What was the other really good one? I think there was 1 Jersey Mike's in there. Oh, Toyota. Things that people would wanna hang up in their garage, right? Oh, I gotta go through these yet too. Oh, Lowe's, that's another one. There were a ton of Lowe's though, so I don't know, because we don't even have Lowe's up here. A lot of the home improvement people I feel like would like that, even if it wasn't from the draft, so I'll get a count on them, but I bet there's 20 of them. We'll see. So those ones, and then the Microsoft Copilot, the Visa, the Verizon Wireless, I set aside 2 of each one. The rest of those brands are on that pile back there, as well as the Marriott one, because I know I already listed 2 of those. And I'm just gonna lot all of those together because I don't know if there's enough excitement around those brands where people would wanna buy them. I could be wrong, but time is a factor. Now tomorrow's gonna be windy, so these 9 bigger ones I need to do today. All these other ones, they're small enough where I can do them inside, as well as when I do lots of them. Like all the blank mesh, the sponsor mesh, the sponsor fabric. I'm not gonna display them, I'm not gonna lay them out. I'm gonna have a pile of them, basically. And that will be the lot. And then I'm done with the banners, which will make this feel like a breeze. Getting dark. Press Gazette will be here tomorrow. I'm stressing. But the last banner, the last of the really big banners I pulled off the pile, and it ended up being 2. I thought it was 1 really long one. It's Green Bay 2025. And look at this, another divisional one. This one's the AFC South. We got Houston Texans, Indianapolis Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars, and Tennessee Titans. So I'm gonna do the same with this one and cut it up. I'm gonna quick get a shot of that one, and I'll cut this one, do the 4 lots, and then I think I'm gonna call it for the day. I still have a ton to do, but we have a final count on the banners. The Coroplast, I don't have a final count, but I can quick count them. They're a lot easier to count than balled up banners. I still have the piles that I need to do, but everything's displayed nice in here. So even if it's not in the auction yet, like I said, they're not running it until after the auction goes up. So, plus I have tomorrow morning, where they said noon, 1, 2 o'clock, something like that. So if I get in early enough, we'll see if that happens. Because I've been working till like 9 p.m. every night. This will be an earlier night. It's 7:35, so it'll be like 8 p.m. when I'm done working. So many hours to do this. But anyways, once this is all done, or once I'm done tonight, I'll try and go to bed early so I can get in early tomorrow and get maybe 4, 5, 6 hours of work in before they get here. Hopefully, we'll see. So it's the next morning. I already got started. I've got about 4 hours till the newspaper comes here. Rough numbers off the top of my head on the bulk ones we're doing. They're already in the system. I just don't know if I remember what I put in there. I believe there are 49 of the blank banners, 15 of the long fabric ones with logos. I want to say 11 of the fence mesh with logos, and 28 of the small barrier covers with sponsor logos. And that's how we're gonna do them. And we'll leave them right on the pallets like this. While I was counting them, this was in the blank ones and I could see some print through it. It's got a draft logo. I don't know what else is on it. It seems small enough. Does it say 4x8? It seems small enough where I can take the pictures in here. It's way too windy to do it outside. Now I've got a pile of smaller banners that I'm starting to lay out to do in here. It's that pile. I'd say I got maybe a third of them out. It looks like a lot. It's just the top of the cart. There's stuff in the cart, so it's just the top. And when they're crinkled up, they get pretty big. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 8. I've got 9 of them out. There are probably 30 total. So here's some of the cool ones. We got Snickers, a whole bunch of Lowe's, another Bud Light, and a Toyota here. These are the ones that I feel like people would want to hang up. So it's another 10. Probably have 10 more on this stack, maybe. I don't know what this is. No clue. About 3 hours left. Here's another 10, kind of the same brands we saw before. We got a Microsoft one, another Toyota one, NFL Plus. This is the jersey material again. And we still have a stack here. Probably 5 or 6 more. So just did all of these. They're marked stage right and stage left. So these were on the stage somewhere and had some sort of signage or flags. No clue what. These 2 beams, which were from the big sign, and then these, I was told they were bollard covers, but I feel like they would have done something nicer than this. I don't know what these were for, unless there was signage on them. That could have been. I bet that's what they were. They went over bollards and they had signage on all 4 sides, so they didn't look ugly like this. So the range the news gave me for time starts in half an hour. So before I keep working, I want to make sure everything's laid out nicely. Laid these out. We've got signs up all over. And I just noticed we've got a couple of these local businesses. I love this place, Little Jamaica. They do Jamaican food. I don't think I've actually ever heard of any. Oh, I've heard of Not By Bread and The Mark. There's another one over here. It looks like it's the same places, but it's cool that it's local. And I wouldn't be shocked if one of these businesses ends up buying these signs. Another one for the gate, some big ones. So I want to get these picked up, and I want to do these next. I should be able to get that done by 1:30. And it sounds like it's going to be somewhere between 1:30 and 3 when they stop by. So it sounded like they were going to be earlier on that, but I was talking to the reporter, and he didn't know the photographer's schedule. So I have no idea. So I might be able to get more done. My goal is still to have it completely done today, because I have today and tomorrow, and then first thing Friday morning, I'm flying out. So if I can get it done today, that'll give me tomorrow to get it online, and then I've got some other stuff around here that needs to be done. That's the plan. We set this up too. This was the base of the big draft sign that sat behind the podium. So Press Gazette, the newspaper, just came to their interview, took a bunch of pictures, took some pictures of me, so that's gonna be my next profile picture. But the photographer left, and then I probably spent a good hour and a half just chatting with the reporter, because I have a problem and I am a chatty Cathy. So it's 5 o'clock. Hopefully I can get this done today, because tomorrow is my last day. I fly out Friday morning, so it's gonna be chaos. So I was just thinking this would make a really cool headboard. It's 8 feet wide, so it's about the size of like a king size bed. Let me back up here so you can see it. Wouldn't that be neat? I've got some other smaller ones. These two have like vent or whatever for a speaker. That one's solid, and this is solid. So some of the smaller banners that I've reserved to do in here are a little bit bigger than I thought, but I made it work. At first I thought this was the one on the side of the stadium, but I looked, it's a black background behind this guy, and the draft logo is above him on the stadium. I still would really like to figure out who this person is. So it turns out 14 by 24 feet is the limit in this room. We're right to the edges of where all this stuff is. So it's gonna get dark pretty soon. It's 7:30, so I just took the pictures of these. They're still going at the end of the auction, but I just wanted to get them done. And I'm really second guessing myself in leaving them whole like this, because it would have been, it's just, their letters are just bolted on the back here. You can see it better from this side. It would have been super easy to remove them right there. There's no nut inside. We can see the inside here. It's just a threaded insert here. I think it would have done so much better if we just took the letters off, and whoever buys them might end up doing that. And then we could just sell these. Maybe these come apart, or just sell them as they are. Yeah, they're all welded together. So the backings we would just leave, but I just don't have time now. I am on such a tight window here. If I had an extra day, well, honestly, if I had an extra day, it would still be a tight window. But if I had more time, I probably would do that, remove the individual letters, sell them individually, because I think we'd get a lot more money. They're a lot more manageable for people than the giant things like that. I mean, even just transport. You can fit them in an SUV, or display. You can hang them on the wall, or put them on the floor. They're a lot better to display. How are you going to display that huge thing? Realistically, whoever buys them is probably going to take the letters off and either keep them or sell them. I think they would go for so much more money. But I don't know. I don't even know what they're going to go for, as a whole or independently. But I wish I had time to remove those. In here, we're down to the scraps. I've got these two stairs, all of the coroplast that's in here, the beams over there, and the last bit of banners. And we are all done. Oh, and that thing, and that thing. And we're all done. But it's 7:30. It's probably still gonna be 9 o'clock by the time I'm done taking pictures, because I got a couple of smaller banners up here. It's time consuming. My goal is to have pictures done today. So tomorrow morning, I can take a couple hours and get the auction up. All the back end stuff that I need to do. I don't know that I'm gonna be done with photos today though, to be completely honest, because I can't stay here till midnight. Because I have a lot of stuff to do tomorrow. If I stay here till midnight, I'm gonna be sleeping until 10. It's gonna be a whole thing. I'm almost done with banners. This one's interesting because it's got a zipper on the bottom and it opens like a giant duvet cover. Not sure, it's obviously not a duvet cover, but not sure what was supposed to go in it. But it's cool that it has all the teams on it. I keep thinking I'm done with these. This is like the 5th banner that I unrolled and said, okay, finally, on the last one. And in the case of this one, there's another one right there. There's also this one. It's probably 100 feet long. It is way too long to do in here. It's dark outside, so I made a placeholder listing, and I'll just take the picture tomorrow. Since it's 9:15, this auction is not going to be online tonight anyway. All right, I am exhausted. It's after 10 p.m. and I'm still not done, so I'm just gonna have to finish it up tomorrow. I got all the plastic done. I still need to do, I'm saving this and that for last because I think they're the coolest things. So I'll put them right before the sign. So I still have those. I've got the beams here and over there. I've got the 2 new arrow signs and this one and the stairs. And then there are a couple other, and the stool, and a couple other random little stragglers. Like there's a box of lanyards here. They're not branded or anything. I don't know if I even showed you. It's just a box of lanyards. I feel like whoever buys them is just someone who needs lanyards. They don't care that they're at the draft, but I figured I'd grab them rather than let them get thrown away. So we got that. We've got a couple of small things in the front yet. A couple little signs that I found. There's one there, there's one over there, and then we're done. I believe my count is 24 more lots. So that is gonna be it. I'm gonna try and get here early tomorrow. I'm gonna go home, quick shower, and crash. This is gonna be a very large auction. Definitely not the largest we've ever done, but on the higher tier. You know, normally we're doing 250 to 350 lots. Occasionally, maybe once every month or two, we'll hit 400. We've hit 500 a handful of times and 600 once. And this is going to be about 475, so it gives you an idea of where it is. Unless I find more stuff. I mean, I keep finding more stuff because as we unloaded, we just put stuff here, there, everywhere. I'm pretty sure I've got it all accounted for now. But anyways, that's all I got. That's not the end of the video. I'll be back in the morning. That's how tired I am. By the way, I just mentioned what a typical auction is. Today alone, I did almost 220 lots. That is insane. Highest single day total ever, I would assume. That's all. It was a very productive day. I thrive in the last minute. That is when I do my best work. So we are finally done. This is just the second half of the auction, 1,565 images. Once these are on the computer, I will process them, import them into the system. It is just before 1 o'clock. I've already processed the first half of the images. So I'm taking pictures here and kind of circling where it is on the stage. We've got, I think it was these X's, because the long rods are probably what the screen was on. And then those we probably don't have, so I'm gonna get those. I'm doing each section of this. That way you can see in the pictures where it came from. This is the thing that we have. This part, the Packers Hall of Fame took. I'm shocked they did not take that part too. All right, we are uploaded. It's still uploading the photos, so that'll take a little while. Posted the press release here and sent it out to all the local news outlets. Now I just need to do the Facebook ad, the actual ad. There's the pictures, and you know, we promote it through Facebook, and we're good to go. I'm exhausted from sitting though, and I need to stretch my legs, so I'm gonna walk around the building a few times and then get that done. But that's basically all for now. I'll let you know how it finishes. So the auction ends tonight. I woke up to a phone call from Mitch. He was there before me because I was working very late last night, unrelated. And he said, call me ASAP. So I called him. And right now, the network that his phone is on has been down for about a week. And so I call him and I can't get through. And so I messaged him on Facebook, where he messaged me. I said, I can't get through. And he said, Fox 11 is on their way. So I jumped out of bed, quick, brushed my teeth, washed my face, got dressed, and I'm racing to the warehouse. I told them, I said, start cleaning, because we've got stuff for the next auction all spread out while we're, you know, working on it. It's like blocking most of the NFL stuff. So I don't know why they're waiting until the final day of the auction to come, but media coverage is always good.
Time is running out for football fans who want to get that piece of Green Bay history.
At 6 p.m. tonight, an online auction of the NFL draft signage and stage parts will close. Fox 11's Emily Matesic explains how the memorabilia is making a difference. We do have a link to the auction within Emily's story on fox11online.com.
So it is D-Day. It is 5:48. The auction starts closing in 12 minutes. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be here. I'm sure there could be a whole bunch of phone calls. We've been getting calls like crazy all day today. So I'm not going to be able to be answering those calls tonight because I have something that just is unavoidable that I have to do. I should be able to be here for the end of the auction though, the last 150 lots maybe. But we are at $20,000, and that puts it as the highest grossing auction we've ever done. Before that, it was a little over 18,000. And I did find, talk about the last second, like half an hour ago, I figured something out. So over here, I got this lens cover, and I didn't know what it was from. It was, you know, on the footprint, so it was used for something. I figured out what it went to, just randomly happened to see a picture with it in it. So I made it the main picture, and it was actually at 6 a minute ago, so it's at 7, but it's right where they come out of the tunnel. It's that light, and when you zoom in, you can see the wood grain. So there was obviously a light above it. This is just the lens or the diffuser, whatever you want to call it, but it's crazy the detail they put into this when no one's even going to be able to see this. If I had that from the beginning, had known what that was from, it'd probably be, you know, a lot higher right now, like $100. And quite frankly, if it stays low like that, $7, I might bid on it myself and make a light out of it to put in my house. Oh, one more thing. I also got a phone call from the CEO of the American Red Cross today. He wanted to call me to thank me for what we're doing, but also he had a bunch of questions for me because apparently he was not aware that any of this was happening. So I was able to fill him in on those details. Tomorrow, before I come in, I have to stop at the hardware store and get chain because that's what we use to lift those big signs, and I don't actually have any. I was using the chain that the guy who was helping us bring the stuff over from him. So I'll have to pick some of that up, and then I need to order the giant check and some nice, Titletown Auctions polos for when we do the check presentation, but that won't be for a couple more weeks yet. Oh, another interesting tidbit. Let's walk back over to the stuff. This guy's grandson was here today looking at this. He really didn't seem super interested in it. He thought it was cool because it was his grandpa, but he was more interested in finding out who made it because he wanted to reach out to them and have another one made, which I don't get. Like, I found that exact picture on the internet. It's not going to be hard to have one of those made if you just want a picture of your grandpa to hang in your house. The significance of that is because it was at the draft, and I told him that, and that didn't even dawn on him. He didn't even think about that. He's like, oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. So we'll see if he bids on it. He was having trouble creating an account, so we sat down at my desk and I created an account for him. He doesn't seem like, how our parents' generation struggles with technology. He didn't seem like that was an issue. He said he kept getting an error. We were able to create it with no issues right away. So I don't know if maybe there was an issue with the system and then that's since been resolved, or if it was maybe he had internet connection issues or what. But so that's all done. But I'm curious to see if he ends up winning that. Well, it is 6 o'clock. The first lot should be closed, but everything is getting bids right now. So I don't know if any lots have even closed yet. This is the latest an auction's ever closed with us because usually the first lot will close right at 6 and everything has last second bids. And it does extend it by 2 minutes if there's a bid in the last 2 minutes. A lot of buyers typically don't like that because they can't snipe things at the last second. But the idea is if you were having a live auction and a person's calling bids, I got 40, can I get 45? I got 45, can I get 50? They're not going to just stop at a set time. They're going to stop when the last person bids, and they'll do the going once, twice, sold. So that's kind of how it, replicates that on an online form. Other than eBay themselves, pretty much every other auction operates like that. And we got a couple that are finally starting to close. Nope, not that one. I just have to hover my mouse over it apparently and it gets a bid. No bids. There's so many of these construction zone parking signs. I'm surprised they're going so high because there are probably 10 or 15 at least in this auction. Oh, in that little bit of time, we're also up another $1,000 too. First lot is closed. It's 6:02. I'm watching these close and these really shock me. They pulled these out right as I was leaving on the last day and gave them to me. They don't say draft or NFL or anything on them. I'm really surprised they're going as high as they are. I just ordered the giant check. This is the design that I made. I couldn't really get the font for this, so I just got as close as I could. I think it'll be fine. I hope it turns out well. I'm a little worried because this logo was not designed to be printed super large, but this is gonna be 4 feet long. I couldn't get to it in time, but I was gonna say I hope nobody else bids on this because the high bid on there was $12.65, which is Lambeau Field's address. By the way, these 3 here were the ones that I found in the dumpster, among many others. This one is going crazy. I looked, it's a local person who's bidding on a whole bunch of stuff, and then someone from Pennsylvania going at it right now. Uh-oh, I see a typo. That's 36 inches. I must have fat-fingered it, so hopefully the buyer is okay with that being 36 by 72 and not 356 by 72. If we have to refund, we'll refund. On something like that, because it's only $47.50, we'll still pay the Red Cross what it sells for. It'll look like I bought it, essentially, instead of it selling. Hopefully it's only issues like that only happen on cheap stuff though, and not like this $2,000 banner that's still going. This random 1x4 is going for $35, and the light, I'm guessing, is that high because I updated the picture and, you now know where it's from. So it is pickup day. It's already chaos. The news is here interviewing people, and I've got a water somewhere.
Believe it or not, I put a bet in that showed a picture of the hats of the New York Giants. My son was honored, and he was on the draft stage. He was the Navy gentleman, and he likes the Giants, although he supports the Packers. But I was trying to get a couple other bids in, and I was not successful.
Good because drafts 2020 and mentioning Jordan Love, and I'm hoping that he turns into the next, Bart Starr, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, the next big thing. So just having a piece of memorabilia, something.
More than 150 football fans now own a piece of Green Bay history.
Pretty exciting. The auction of draft footprint memorabilia brought in thousands of dollars for the American Red Cross.
In a Fox 11 follow-up, Emily Matasic met with some auction winners. The exact amount of money raised for the Red Cross will be announced during a ceremonial check presentation, and that'll happen within the next couple of weeks.
So Mitch, there's a 20 sitting on the counter, and Mitch said that somebody who didn't speak English very well just gave it to us and said, here, have. So my best guess is it was an extra donation for the Red Cross. So yeah, I'm just gonna throw it on the check for the Red Cross. These wooden boxes actually sold for 30 bucks, and it's a little surprising, but at least we don't have to get rid of them. Seeing how this sold, maybe I should have sold the NFL draft tube sand. They just gave us this to throw on top of something, so there's some weight on it, and I figured it's not gonna sell, so I figured I'd just keep it in case we ever need it. But maybe it would have sold. You never know. I got a free bag of tube sand, I guess. I don't really want it. I have no use for it, and it's just gonna take up space. So I very well might bring it to like the Habitat store and give it to them. All right, one of the flagpoles is getting picked up. A lady who bought 2 of them said they're a lot bigger than she was expecting, and she doesn't want them. She said she's still happy to pay for them, but she doesn't want to take them. So she told us to give them to the next person. Great, the wind took like almost all of the tags off. At least they're in order. Guy has a pickup truck. I don't know how he plans on hauling a 25-foot flagpole. As he got out of his truck, he said, I guess I should have came for inspection day. So he's coming next week with his trailer to pick it up. We do have another pickup day scheduled next week, so a lot of this stuff is going to be waiting for a week. So since most of those flagpoles don't have tags, I printed a bunch to stick them back on there, and then the person who bought all of the other ones just showed up, so I don't even need to do that. 0 for 8. I really had to convince her not to bring them like that. She said her truck could die any moment now. She can smell oil. It is like at the end. And she wanted to put all those on top of her truck. So that was one of the reasons. The other reasons, she didn't have any help, and I really didn't want to lift those up there. So she is coming back next week with a U-Haul. Might be getting another donation. Guy's here to pick up one of these X's, and he doesn't have a trailer or anything. It's very tall, so he said he might just have to let that one go. He's also got one of these concrete pillars, but that's manageable to fit in a typical, if you get an SUV, van, truck. It's crazy to me the people that did not prepare for this. Like, we loaded one of those huge stage panels onto the roof of a Honda Civic, and so it remains. He did get one of the pillars too. He seemed pretty committed to figuring out a way to get it though. So I have a feeling we'll see him next Thursday. Oh, I had a big lunch. He had a really cool license plate though. Obviously I'm not gonna say what it is, but it related to Jordan Love. And it was one that, like, he said the day after Jordan Love was drafted, he went and got that license plate. And that was a pretty big gamble, but it's a really good one. Kicking myself for not taking those letters off. The individual broken ones sold for so much more. I think more than some of the big signs sold for. So on that big NFL draft sign, I just didn't have time, but I didn't realize it would come off. They're like barely attached. They came off so easy. We probably would have brought in another $2,000-3,000 if I took those off. So I'm really kicking myself on that. Starting to empty out in here. Two of the big X's are gone. The last two louver panels are gone. Bud Light sign went with the big ones outside. Ben has been stressing about the stuff being back here, so he'll be happy to see a lot of it leaving here today. So what I think I'm gonna do, we had the $20 that somebody gave us, and then we also had a couple of people that rounded up their change, really just coin, and they said just donate it to the Red Cross. The paperwork of doing that is gonna be a huge pain in the butt, especially for little amounts. So what I think I'm gonna do is I am just going to pocket that money. Now don't freak out yet. And then personally donate that money to the Red Cross. But this is what the tables look like. There's still a lot left. Of course, we do have another pickup day. Most of those are gone. All of the brick, I believe, is still here. I think it was one buyer. And then a few odds and ends through here. A few of these left. We shipped out everybody who physically called or emailed and asked for shipping. All of that is shipped out already. We got UPS and we got the post office. A lot of it is just flats. I'm sure there's gonna be a whole bunch more shipping. If someone checked the box requesting shipping, yeah, I know it's dark, it'll be brighter in a second. If someone checked the box for shipping, I'm ignoring that for now because we've got a lot of people who picked up but had checked the box for shipping, and there are a whole bunch of local people who checked it. The location of this box, and I don't have a say in how this is set up, but the location of this checkbox, it kind of looks like you're accepting the terms, so you just check it without reading it, which is why I'm ignoring that. People who bid regularly in the auctions, they know what it is, they're familiar with it, but we have a lot of people who have never bid with us before. For now, I'm ignoring it. Tomorrow, every single person who marked shipping requested, I'm gonna call to confirm before I ship it out. And then we normally, out-of-state people, we just assume they want shipping even if they didn't check the box, so we usually ship it out anyways. I'm gonna do the same thing because I know there's at least 2 people who are out of state, with out-of-state addresses, who had emailed and said they were gonna send someone to pick up, someone local. So that's kind of the plan for tomorrow. But everything that is confirmed shipping today, there were probably 15, 20 orders, is shipped out, it's gone. This is still here. We've got 3 of the columns left. This is basically it back here. I hope that doesn't get picked up because I want it. If it doesn't get picked up and it's paid for, it becomes our property. It's considered abandoned. And we usually donate these things, just give it to Goodwill because we don't want to deal with it. But in this case, I'll probably keep that. They paid over $500. I'm sure they're gonna pick it up. We got 1 of the stairs left. This thing is another one of those, this X. This is the one I mentioned earlier that the guy seems pretty confident that he's gonna pick it up, but I have my doubts. So we'll see. And then we've got over here, a bunch of these beams are left. And then all of the flagpoles are left, but they all showed up today. They just couldn't take them with them. So all of these are left, and I'm sure all of this stuff is gonna be picked up on the second pickup day. So today is the day we finally issue the check. So we're pulling the van out to have a backdrop for that. A couple news outlets are here already. I'm excited.
Good deal.
All right, we're ready to get started. So this is the donation. Audrey, you want to come up?
Audrey, come on. Oh, I didn't mean to snap. I'm like, come on. That's not what I meant to do. I just know you didn't want to.
All right, everybody all set? My name is John Dugan. I'm the owner of Titletown Auction Company here in Green Bay. Before we present the check, there are a couple things that I wanted to say. This whole process has been incredibly rewarding for us for a number of reasons, and there are 3 in particular that I wanted to address today. For starters, as a Red Cross volunteer, I get to witness firsthand the impact that they provide right here in northeastern Wisconsin, and being able to help support their mission just means so much to us. Secondly, all of these products that we sold, they were destined to go to the landfill. And in fact, I mentioned on one interview that I was at one point inside of a dumpster, ankle deep in dumpster liquid, pulling out banners. And one of those banners ended up selling for over $2,000. That was really exciting. But a lot of this, it was plastic material. It was not really recyclable. So being able to save this from the landfill really kind of helps support our mission. And lastly, I'm a collector. Anybody who's been to our auction facility has seen our wall of signs, and that's one of many things that I collect. So being able to see all the fellow collectors who come in and watch their eyes light up when they see the items that they've been fighting for a couple of weeks in the auction for, it just really made my day. Being able to hear their stories on why that particular item spoke to them and what they plan on doing with it. Some of the stage pieces, people have told us how they're going to repurpose them, and I'm really excited to see pictures once those are all done. But this auction, let me pull up my notes here, was a culmination of 168 hours of work. There were 483 lots, all of which sold, 449 bidders from 26 different states, including Hawaii, and 4 countries. 156 people ended up buying something. There were 9,000 total bids, and this is the crazy part, 127,000 views on the auction. The day the auction ended, I spoke to one of the media outlets and said traditionally the auction will double in that last day. And after 8 years of weekly auctions, that's kind of usually the case. But I had my doubts on this one because at that point it had already far surpassed my expectations. So without any further ado, it's my honor and my privilege to present this check to the American Red Cross of Northeast Wisconsin for $33,931.
Having the mic, but I just want to say how genuinely and extremely grateful we are to John and his crew. This was not something that we expected. I know when Audrey had told us that John was looking at doing this, I don't think I anticipated, nor did Audrey, that this would turn into something like this. And after hearing you were dumpster diving and it just kind of took off. And when John started talking about what it would add up to, we were blown away. And I know that John has given generously of his time through volunteering, and then to turn this into being able to help and take care of and support so many families around the Northeast community through this generous donation just really allows us to be there and to help those families in need when they need it most. Thank you.
Nothing specific use for these funds? You said they would help families in general, but is there a specific way you plan to put these to use, or these unexpected funds?
These funds are being designated specifically to disaster relief efforts in the Northeast chapter of the Red Cross. We have 13 counties in Wisconsin and 3 more additional counties up in the UP area. Audrey is our disaster program manager that really coordinates all of the efforts with all of the volunteers. So the dollars will be allocated locally to provide that disaster response, our home fire campaign, or our home fire response, our disaster, whether it's a natural or something that may have happened that is affecting residents. We will be there supplying the best type of comfort and response to help people return to normal. And these funds will go directly to support those efforts.
John, you mentioned that you did a lot of work to, put all of this money together. Can you tell us what kind of feeling it is to know that, nearly $34,000 is going to be staying locally, helping families who are desperately in need? That's got to be a good feeling.
That means a lot to me. In the beginning, I was under the impression that it would go nationally, but when we first started, I was told that it could stay in the local community, and that really just makes it feel so much better to me.
Yeah.
Donor intent is so important to us. When individuals or companies or organizations give, we want them to feel good about where they give and to have a passion about that gift. And John, being an active volunteer in the Northeast community, it was important that it stayed to support the very same communities that he is supporting. And so we make that intent part of where these funds will be allocated.
So all the media was here. That was pretty cool. And I may have just walked into his frame. I kind of hope I did, because I walked and then quick stopped and ducked back. So that's all I got for this video. That was so much fun. It was so hot out though. I probably got a good sunburn from the half hour we were out there. But all of the local news networks showed up and had their camera crews and interviews and whatnot. I had Christiana take some video footage, so you saw that. And then we had our photographer there taking pictures too. So that was so much fun. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.
An auction that concluded in May is following through and making a difference. The Northeast Wisconsin chapter of the American Red Cross was awarded nearly $34,000 courtesy of Titletown Auction Company. That donation is the result of an auction for memorabilia from the 2025 NFL Draft. The NFL was set to throw away many of these items, about 6% of that $34,000 donation.
They were destined to go to the landfill. And in fact, I mentioned on one interview that I was at one point inside of a dumpster, ankle deep in dumpster liquid, pulling out banners. And one of those banners ended up selling for over $2,000. That was really exciting.
The Red Cross chapter leaders say they're blown away by the generosity.
The April NFL draft might be over, but we are still feeling the effects this once-in-a-life opportunity had across Northeast Wisconsin. I'm NBC 26 Today's McLeod Hageman at the American Red Cross in Green Bay, where they are picking up a major donation today from items auctioned off during the draft. Take a look.
So without any further ado, it's my honor and my privilege to present this check to the American Red Cross of Northeast Wisconsin for $33,931.
Nearly $34,000. That's how much Titletown Auction Company owner John Dugan was able to raise. The best part, that money stays right here in Northeast Wisconsin. That will help with disaster relief. American Red Cross of Northeast Wisconsin Executive Director Rebecca Rockhill telling me this generous donation will make a huge difference in someone's life who desperately needs it.
It is a great feeling. We know that funds here in Northeast Wisconsin make sure that we are meeting those needs. It helps us just to make sure that our community is being supported.
Now, Dugan telling me many of the items he auctioned off from the draft was set to be thrown away. In fact, one of the banners he pulled from the trash went on to sell for nearly $2,000. He says there were 449 bidders and 438 lots up for auction, with a total of 9,000 bids coming in at nearly $34,000 that would have otherwise been tossed in the trash. Reporting from the American Red Cross in Green Bay, McLeod Hageman, NBC 26.
Titletown Auction Company presenting a donation check to the American Red Cross Northeast Wisconsin chapter today. It's the result of the charity auction featuring memorabilia from the 2025 NFL Draft. Items included pieces from draft stage, signage, which would otherwise have just been thrown away, but people wanted it. The company donated almost $34,000, and that money will stay with the Northeast Wisconsin chapter